Would you all please recite the pledge with me? A pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All our board members are present. Thank you for being here. I guess the first order of business would be to ask for public comment. Hearing none. Samantha, do you have something that you want to discuss with us today?
I don't specifically. Do you guys have anything?
Okay.
We do have a truck that's in, sorry, I didn't think that. We do have a truck that's in Tuscola, just in case anybody sees it. Have had some mechanical issues with that truck. It's still under warranty, so I had to go to a Ford place. It's on its third Ford place. They have finally discovered that the engine needs replaced. And so we're waiting on Ford to send us a warranty permission slip to that Ford. So been shaking their chain this morning to see how quickly we can get that turned around.
Okay. Anybody else? Philip, do you have anything?
I do not.
Is it appropriate to tell them that we're close to reaching agreement with the hospital on all items, to clear all items?
Yes.
So I think there's a meeting later on this week that none of us are attending, but that you're taking care of along with the hospital, and I assume maybe a representative from the sheriff's department.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure the board was aware of that. And then that will clear things up and clear a path for future issues and bills to be taken care of rapidly so that we don't get into this situation again. Okay? So, thought since we were talking, Augie, do you have anything this morning, like how many has voted and how things are going? Or?
So we're really busy. We probably have had, I checked Friday afternoon, and there might have been a couple since then. mid-1300 people, and that mostly it's half and half between walk-ins and mail. So,
And we have, what, 11,000 voters?
yes, yep,
So,
round numbers.
so we've got roughly 10% closing in on 10% of the vote right now.
Yep, yep.
Cool. Anything else, Augie?
No.
Andy?
I don't know what's going on over there today. Have you talked to anybody today? We can probably.
Well, they're gonna be doing testing this week, both pull testing on the plates, and they're gonna use ground penetrating radar and hop in here if you need to, Russ. And that is to guarantee the integrity of the foundation and the plates, and so that they can, they're gonna test it to about 36,000 pounds, I understand.
Yeah.
So, just to make sure we don't have any difficulty and that we get longevity out of the foundation on the building. And everything else went well,
Yeah.
so,
Once they get that done, the panels, the walls are made.
right.
They're waiting to get that part fixed and they can start setting them up.
And we did some final color selection, actually. The aluminum is actually not colored, but I think everything went fine there, but we got to take a look at it. And let's see, anything else you can think of? Okay. All right.
Over Terre Haute, built that new jail,
Mhm.
full already,
Yeah, it was
It was full.
It was full
The
the
day they
day
got
after
done,
they, yeah.
500 inmates.
Did you go over there with us?
No,
They don't have no cash bail in Indiana,
Pardon?
then, do they?
they don't have that. they can have the bond, you gotta pay bond.
Our, from meeting with the sheriff and his chief deputy, we found out that, our daily average has moved up into the 20s, I believe, from the teens, lower teens, so everything seems to be going up, so. I'm not sure quite why, but maybe it's just the system is getting some age on it, and some of the prisoners have some reoccurring events, and that's probably why it's creeping up, so.
Anything else? Yep.
I haven't seen, our friendly plumber lately to
I
remind
wondered-
him.
I thought it was you that ran into him at breakfast.
Yeah, I did, and I mentioned the thing up in Monty's office and the basement at the government center. So these are things that need to be attended to,
Yeah.
so.
I said, I'll call it, see if I
Should see him again this week too, so.
can, you will?
Should.
Okay. If you
If
see
you
him.
do, just grab a hold of him, put him in his truck and pull him over to the,
I got him on the tile
yeah,
around it.
Yeah, he did, and he got right on that, and that,
we'll see who's got pull around
it
here.
hadn't rained since we put it.
Yeah, and then he took part of it away. Anyway, so.
He's hard to catch up with.
Dan, anything going on at the,
And I stopped in last week, but everything's all right. She's still trying to find somebody to work on the cages, so.
well, did you tell her about Gary?
Jared, you,
She
Gary
was-
Jewell?
Yep, I told
Yeah.
her.
Okay,
I
good.
don't know whether she's had
That's who
contacted him yet or not.
That's who
I think
tried
she
to call
did,
me a
but-
little bit ago.
Oh, okay.
I think she did, but he hasn't got to it yet. So she wants to get more cages for the winter time. That's the reason why she's kinda in a hurry about it, so.
You ever think about building a new one? Bigger, warmer? Don't you care about your dogs? What's the matter with you?
A good idea.
mine lives in a big warm place.
So is mine, the dog. What about all the poor
Yeah.
dogs that don't?
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, now, just build, hell, we just spent 20 million on the jail, what's a couple more?
They even put some dogs in the jail, got enough room on it.
Why not?
Yeah,
It's warm. I never thought of that, that may work out.
or we could just add a roof to the exercise yard.
Well, we can do that.
I'm
yeah.
serious, you need to build a new one. someday.
Either add to the ones you got.
Or you could add to it, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean,
Oh, how many, there were a
Not
lot of
just
dogs, a lot of
tents.
dogs stay outside in winter time. Well,
like,
I
did you
try
like
to keep
that?
them inside,
Do
but,
you like that?
yeah.
I'm outside, I like that.
Well, I don't know if she
She's-
does or not.
She's working on trying
Right.
to get walls built
Right.
and
I do
there's
that, I
outside.
just
Yeah,
hope
that's
it's-
hard to do.
Keep the wind off of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wind just probably sucks right
Mm-hmm.
through there. Probably very unpleasant,
Yeah, she's still
even to
full.
work in.
Yes, the guy from Christmas doing all right. I talked to her about that too. He's
Yeah,
got
she
some,
was pretty
got some
satisfied.
health problems, but still he cleans the cages, that's,
That's a big,
most
that's a
people would
big
wanna
deal
do.
there.
yeah, that'd be a job. Yeah. Other than that, it's all right.
Russ, do you have anything? Do you wanna talk to us about the antenna or?
Well, I finally got my key to work this morning.
There you
Figured
go.
out how to operate that door.
It was the right key.
It's the right key. You got it.
Didn't know how to hold your mouth,
Yeah.
but you did.
So I got it to work. I'm gonna I'll get on the electrician to get the lights going and get a hold of somebody to check the heat
Okay.
in the main building.
Yeah, when we went in there, and there's mouse repellent stuff all around it, and I looked at that building, really, I think the mice are getting in that,
In through the heating.
in through those air conditioning systems, and there's some grid that is bent up, and that's about the only place they can crawl in, but they need to, that's where they're getting in, there shouldn't be any mice in that place is,
Andy took a look at the roofs yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
last week,
yeah,
and it's concrete roof,
Yeah,
so.
it gets hooks in.
Hooks that they set it on with, and somebody has painted it white at some point, but, and so, I mean, it's, that roof will last forever, as long as the rest of the building.
Next time you talk to her, remind me to make sure that, I'm pretty sure, well, I know I did, but that we've taken possession and I'll let JR know, okay?
Okay.
No update on the brush clearing yet. It's still early.
Yeah. Carl?
Nothing.
Blood?
No,
Lisa?
No, not really. Had a health board.
Jesus,
No, shocker.
what the heck, I was looking forward to this.
Jack's gonna have a fever, she may be sick.
Had health board meeting, going all right. Dental clinic is humming along and they're really glad to have their 5 days of availability now. Their staff they are fully staffed, fully trained. The rest of the health department is busy as well. So things are going pretty well there. I told somebody, I don't think I said it in here though, that I had talked to Terry Sullivan after church a couple weeks ago, and he said that there are 2 other providers who are interested in going after the federal money for broadband. And I said to him, the next time you see them, make sure they get in touch with me, give them my contact information, because we'll just require them to come here and give their own presentation. That's the least they can do. And we can do we can do letters of support or however we choose to do that for as many companies as we want. It doesn't mean that we are committed to any one of them or that we are showing favoritism. They're all gonna give us basically the same presentation, because right now they're operating on what the government says they can do, which still does not meet most of the north end of the county. And he had also mentioned, and I wasn't focused on that at the time, that our new tower could be really valuable. We could end up making quite a bit of income out of that, because it's very likely that at least one of these 3 companies is gonna want to use it. So that'd be pretty exciting. So that's all I have.
Yes, Carl?
She just mentioned the tower. We got the contract up at the jail with AT&T, and there's sometime next year. Do we need to be doing anything?
Absolutely. Yeah, it comes up in January, February 26. So we need to go in and make sure that if we have to let them know or give them notice a set period of time, we need to go in and get them on that. So you've already reviewed it once, or you or Lauren, I'm not sure who
Yeah.
has. But, so we need to redo that and make sure that we do everything that we need to do so we don't wind up with that tower for another 3 or 4 years. Thank you, Carl. Air evac, no issue with what he talked about as far as letting people know when they sign up for it that we can then, if they leave, collect the payments from them. We haven't gone ahead with it because we didn't have that answer, and I wanted to see what the board, if you had an issue with us going ahead and offering that discount to our employees.
Fine with me.
We're not out anything, but I
Right.
just wanted to make sure it was okay with everybody here.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
explain to them that if it's another helicopter, that doesn't pay for it. I had some people complain about that one time.
Oh, yeah.
Like one from Carl comes down, that doesn't pay for it, not from Carl, so they need to know that.
There has to be a disclaimer on that.
Right,
Yes,
right.
in the contract,
Right.
right. Okay. Of course, we already talked about the sheriff inmate med situation and ambulance, 2 separate issues, so that is hopefully going to come together maybe later this week or the first of next week, so we can move forward. And we may have an agenda item or anything to correct our current resolution on that, or do you know?
No, I think that the resolution looked like it was okay.
All right, okay, so we don't have to be concerned about that. Okay, the elephant in the room, or the gorilla, I forget which one it is. Budget, any questions? We've had it now for a good week. You will note that you did receive today an updated sheet on the levy. Shows the levy here, shows the amount, and that's not a final until we know some more information about tort and the final adjudication of the Service One issue. So that may change, that would take it down if we didn't reach it
Soon we'll be like that.
here in the next week or two. Hopefully before the first meeting. Now, we can still change the levy up to, what's the date, the 28th or 27th, Augie?
Yeah, 27, I believe.
Of November.
Of November.
So we can make adjustments there. We're scheduled to have a public hearing on Monday the 3rd, 4th, Monday the 4th, before our study session. And everything will be taken care of the way it's supposed to be, because our levy at this point represents an increase greater than 105% or 5%. Did I say that okay? Okay. So, we did have some information about the MOU for the dispatcher, and I think everything's agreeable. They're rewriting, just changing, I think, one or two words, and then we'll have that forward. So we'd have to look to that to put a dispatcher back in the budget. So that will change the budget. Let's see here.
Did you take the one out of what we got here?
Yes, it is out. And it shows you how much was taken out for that dispatcher. But we'll have to double check that says 56.8. So we'll have to take a look at that and verify that's what the exact amount is. So, and then we'll have another copy will be sent out. I haven't made any changes with Don on the stuff that we reviewed last Wednesday or Thursday, because I just don't want to keep running back and forth and having him change stuff, if we can do it pretty much bulk all at once, so. But we will make changes after today that show exactly where we're at on the budget in the next few days, and then get it out to you.
Did you say the tort number may change?
Yes.
And how, when will we know that?
Well, we might have known it last week, but I didn't hear. Hopefully this week.
And that's if he is able to find another carrier?
He was shopping other carriers, but we don't have the exact amount that our current carrier is gonna bump us up either. Okay? So,
But the initial indication was 20%.
that's correct. It
And
could
that's-
be higher, but we're hoping for lower, but
And that's due to two factors. One is the damage to the courthouse, the storm.
correct, in two other facilities too. We had damage here, we had damage out at the health department, you know, so all of that was covered by our insurance policy after the storm.
Do you know approximately how much damage we had in all that? Was it over $1 million?
Yes, it was, they sent us a check for roughly, I gotta remember where it's at, about 1.2 million,
Yeah.
yes.
And then also the administration at the sheriff's department
Yes,
is a factor.
lack of training and guidance of correctional staff was a big issue.
Right.
Making any, let's just say, we have a couple of people, or a couple of companies that we'd love to have offer their policies to us, but because they just didn't think we cleaned up, or the sheriff's department had cleaned up their policies and procedures, and that everybody was aware of them and were using them, we weren't able to get those benefits.
Right. And that's like 100,000, the 20% is like $100,000 increase.
And it was 100,000 last year, and
Yeah.
the storm had nothing to do
And
with
that
that.
was-
That was all sheriff's
Sheriff's Department.
Sheriff's
Right.
Department, yes.
And then also our deductible went up to $250,000 on
Yes.
that policy.
Yep,
It was 25.
it was 50, I
Was it
believe.
50?
50 on the sheriff's department, now it's $250,000. And then, no, our car car policies or vehicle policies are still 50, or 5,000 or something like that.
And
So,
just another reason to keep reserves.
absolutely. The other thing is, we need another meeting with the sheriff's department to let them know what we're doing. And I think we wanna press them on vehicle issues. We've got some older vehicles that I think are surplus, but we're still
Paying
paying
insurance and tires.
insurance, $1,200-1,300 a unit. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like very much money, but it all adds up. So I think we need to do that.
What's the plans on the old Trader building?
We're gonna, well,
Is it
we've
big?
talked about, everything's out of that now. which is-
Everything's out of it.
Everything's out of it, so we need to, we also get with, that's another reason to meet with the sheriff, and maybe we can do a little tour, but our plan is to advertise it and ask for sealed bids, but, I mean, if we get another way to do it, I know other ways have been talked about, but,
I mean, it basically says you have to have the highest bidder, right?
mhm.
Well, it seems to me if you gave it, just- I don't know whether the best way to do it, whether you gave it to a realtor, or the person who comes and buys it, gave you the most money, gave you the highest bid, right?
Now, I think though that I could be wrong, but I'll ask our eminent attorney, but I think what we have to do is advertise so every citizen has an opportunity to bid on it. And that there's a certain day it has to be in by, like 4 o'clock on a Friday. And then you open the bids, and then you see the highest bid is, and you award to the highest bid unless for some reason they can't meet the specifications of the bid itself, so. Am I close there?
Yes, I think that's right.
So if you don't get any bids, have to tear it down or just give it to somebody or?
No, you don't have to tear it down and give it, you just
Yeah.
I think
wait a
we
few
have-
months and do it again.
I think there's some interest out
Okay,
there,
good.
so, but we'll cross that bridge too when we
Yeah.
come to it.
Okay, I just wondered.
And we're gonna try to do that quickly, right?
I would hope so, because,
Because of the winter.
right, either that or we need to winterize some things in there.
Correct.
You're gonna go ahead and heat it, aren't you?
Yes.
I mean, at least keep it, I mean, yeah, you
You
gotta
gotta keep it warm a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have to keep it,
Keep it about 50 or 55.
yeah. And I'd probably, put some kind of system, temperature monitor, something in there.
Somebody
Because
have to
nobody
check-
in there, that place, they could go, and we had trouble with that heater last year.
Somebody have to check it once in a while too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have to be on the list to check.
And Ray goes in and does the boiler every morning during cold weather, he could maybe just go over, just open the door and see what it's like in there.
Or at least check the door, see if water's running out.
Yeah.
It was a joke. Very poor one, but it was. So, back in at the budget, so we're gonna have to take a look at a few things, because if we add $56,000 back into it, it's gonna be the negative. So, we're gonna have to take a look at some more stuff here.
I was looking at these different levies, the general county tax went from $995 to 1.2 million, 26% increase.
Yeah.
That's, to me, unacceptable.
Okay, Carl,
I-
that's fine.
I know,
You,
but as far as I'm concerned, we need to send all this back to the 8 different department heads and see if they can find some more cuts. Because, you know, a 9% increase in taxes for the people on top of what we have 10 to 15% increase last year.
No, we were under 5%.
Well, was that the valuation or the,
No, our levies just dropped.
well, I know, but
We didn't collect any more money.
there was an increase to people's taxes.
No. And I'll try to, okay, if we ask for, go ahead.
No, I want,
If we asked for
Explain that to me.
$100,000 last year,
mm-hmm,
that's what we got.
right,
Okay, even though they raised the total evaluation, instead of, if the 100,000 equaled 10%,
mm-hmm,
okay, not a 10% increase, just a 10% levy, okay? The amount would have dropped to like 6 cents instead of 10 cents because the levy, or the equalized assessed value went up.
that was what went up the 10 and
Right.
different
But
townships.
it didn't increase the amount of taxes collected.
Okay,
It just dropped the levies, correct? Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
right. But I guess my point is a 26% increase, you know, that's pretty substantial. And I know there's a lot of justification for some of these increases, but I would like for the individual department heads to take a closer look and see if they can make some cuts.
Okay.
So we could, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna get down to under 5%. I mean, and that's $255,000. I mean, that's,
Eventually, it's gonna have to be that high, Carl.
well,
We're gonna probably need another 100 next year.
yeah. But don't you think they need to take a look at it and see if they can squeeze some things out of it to help?
Sure, no, I
Help the
think that,
taxpayers?
absolutely.
I mean, we went into the sheriff's department and made some pretty big cuts.
How are we gonna ask, and I'm just
Well,
using,
I'm-
he's here.
I'm not saying
Well, he's
everybody.
less than he was last year.
I know there were several department heads that are less, but there's several that are, there's one 10% higher, you know. Maybe they take a look at it and maybe they can say, yeah, I can cut a little bit.
That wouldn't hurt anything to try.
No, I
Try.
agree, no,
Yeah.
now,
But I understand,
yeah,
there's only so much, but,
yeah, we've made some difficult choices over
Right.
the last, 2-3 years.
right,
We decided to commit to not just law enforcement, but to commit to the process of adjudication
all right.
that was not working in this county at all.
Mhm.
And we were able to fund those changes originally by using the money that we received from the federal government.
Right,
And of course, that's gone.
I understand.
So we had to decide where that money was coming from, so.
I just think we need to
No, that's fine. We can-
request that, see if there's some cuts that they can make
Yep,
and take a look at it.
no, I think that's fine. They've got, we can do that. Give them a week. Augie and I will come up with a thing to send it out to them, and we'll send it out, the most recent one.
Right.
We'll get it updated and then see if there's anything they can do. And probably target the ones that, now there's a couple in there that they've offered, well, the unions are getting a 3% increase.
Right.
And I think some of the administrators have given their folks a 3% increase. And that's what
Right.
figures their increase, so they're sticking pretty close, but we
Nothing
do.
wrong with that to get.
I mean, that's my opinion, you guys express
So,
your
yeah,
opinions, but, you know, I wanna hear some other
Yeah.
people's thoughts, you know, if
It
this
can
is
be done,
acceptable.
yes, and I agree with
You
you.
know,
Russ, Dan,
I mean,
Andy?
I agree with you. You've also gotta understand that when you talk about all the prices of everything that you pay for is higher,
Yep.
that comes
I
here
know.
too.
I understand,
Gas is higher,
I understand that totally. You know,
supplies are
last-
higher, labor's higher, it's all going up.
Yep, I understand.
you look at
What can I
shop,
tell you about it?
even shop getting repairs done. You know, it was $100 a couple of years ago, and now it's $130, $140 an hour. I mean, it's nuts.
Everything.
So, at any rate, yeah, Dan? you-
I agree, I think it should be checked,
Russ?
I mean, a lot of times, people pad budgets and ask for more money than what they're gonna spend, so at the end of the year, you may have a surplus, but you can't always depend on it. That's like when we taught school. No, they said they didn't have any money, but they would pad the money in the budget and say, we don't have any money, but it was there somewhere, hidden. Not so much here, but
Well, I just think we need
I
to
think.
We need to give her a shot.
give it a shot and
Right,
let the taxpayers know we're trying to make as many cuts as we can, but they gotta realize that with everything, that taxes are gonna go up.
I agree with you. I think the people are well aware of that,
You know.
so they're all pissed off all the
oh yeah,
time.
they're not happy, but what are you gonna do?
It's a business.
And I also noticed
Business growing up.
on the county highway tax, it went up, a 7% increase. Is that, I know the other day you mentioned about the federal aid matching tax, you know, it went up, and you explained, I think it went up 15%.
Right, in
Why-
order to get it to where we can get money back.
Right,
Right.
and the county highway tax, is that the money specifically goes to Aaron for his operation?
Correct.
I guess we could ask him
We will.
if, you know, if there's some, every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
Could you explain on that federal aid, I understand the concept, the federal aid tax. Do they come out and they say, okay, counties, you have to increase it by 15%?
No, no.
How
What
does
they
that
simply
work?
do, they look at the last 2 years, and when they're awarding or making federal funds available to each county, those that have gotten within 1 to 2% of the levy totals, maybe 3%, I forget, but get close to it, then they award money. If you've got a county that could be collecting 340 and they're only collecting 275 or 310, then they don't give them any money
Right.
because they figure they're not.
Their reasoning is they're not
Yeah.
trying, so we're not
Same
giving
with the
any.
townships, yes.
Yeah.
So why does our levied amount go up? Why are we not just having to levy the same amount and collect it?
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to collect their levies, they have to be collecting 5 cents on the 100. Okay?
Okay,
That's,
so that's why if our,
you guesstimate what the equalized assessed value is
so
gonna
it's,
be,
it's based on equalized assessed value.
and then you multiply that times a nickel
And
per
then back
100.
it up.
Right.
Okay.
I gotta go to the doctor.
Well, we're gonna, what we will do is, once we leave here, we'll get the corrections made on what we've done. We'll also set up a sheriff's meeting sometime here, especially since I know you've got other work to do, but you'll be able to get away a little easier. And maybe first part of the week, we can get with the sheriff's department. We'll send a note out with the amended proposed budget and with the thing that Augie and I'll come up with, some verbiage that asks them to please take a close look at their budgets and see if they can't do some issues and make some cuts that will help us reduce the amount of levy. Is that fair?
When does the budget have to be passed?
Well, we accept the budget on the 6th, and
Sixth
then
of,
November.
okay,
So we only got a couple of weeks.
okay.
But we can make changes on both the levy and the budget between the 6th and what is it, the
27th,
27th?
27th, yeah,
Yes.
that's 3 weeks.
Right, so we can make some adjustments here, okay? So that's what we're looking at, okay?
Okay.
Any questions about that? Okay. Anything else we need to talk about? I know this is a very distasteful thing that we're looking at,
Question for next year.
yes.
So if our tax levy goes up to 1.04, how do we handle the next year? Is it always based upon the tax levy the year prior, so it's always going up?
Yeah, so if that's the new levy amount, what is that, I'm sorry. If it
4.5.
becomes, where's the total levy?
Okay.
What-
5176.
Okay, then you take that times 5, and your levy can increase beyond that.
Right, but so it's like,
What's .04? Oh, yes, yes. Yes, I see what you're saying now, the total levy.
how do we ever get back to taxing less?
I don't think you can.
Good luck.
On the levy for the ambulance service, this is first year they pay, right? They haven't paid for 5 years. They pay that plus the other levy also?
No, you mean for 2, or the 5th? I gotta be
Yes.
careful what you're asking.
Well,
They haven't
start
ever
pay-
paid, for the last 5
Right,
years,
they haven't
it's been
paid.
0 for ambulance
Right,
service,
right.
but now it'll be, I don't know what the rate would be, but enough to come up with $350,000
Okay.
for the,
Yeah, we don't have it on there.
the rate.
I just wondered if,
But yeah, that will be added.
It's like 17 cents. You can collect up to 20
yeah, I
cents
knew that.
per
Yeah,
100.
yeah,
And both of them are way below that.
okay.
But next year, when you get your taxes, there'll be a, for the special service ambulance.
I just wondered, I know they haven't paid for 5 years,
Right.
and they're gonna start paying, some of them gonna be a lot unhappy, but they haven't paid for 5 years, so they
Right.
shouldn't complain too much.
Sure will anyway.
Oh, yeah, they will, I know.
I will say that this county has done a fairly decent job in the past of keeping it down
Yeah.
into the 90-some cents.
Right.
Most counties in Illinois, if you look at, and you probably be able to look at those books that you've got, operate somewhere between 10.5 to 11 cents per 100.
So next year, really, the only one that has any potential likelihood of going down would be tort. And that's if everybody does what they need to do.
Should go down less, shouldn't
Well,
So have you ever seen an insurance policy go down?
well, that would only be if we get more opportunities for bids.
I know, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be, it's just, we'd be happy if it just didn't go up anymore. But it would be great if it would go down.
But really, that's the only one with any flexibility for next year, right?
Yes.
But in answer to your question, how a tax is gonna lower is make cuts.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
And cut services,
Yeah.
Or if we can sell some space on our tower for gold,
Well,
yeah.
and we've had a few things come up that would have helped in the future. And I got my teeth kicked in on them, but, there have been some moves by the state government to do green energy. And green energy would be a way that it would make it possible for this county and a lot of counties to bring in, less local taxes and more land, well, it'd still be land taxes, but somebody else would be paying them. In other words, for example, the new systems for solar. Okay, solar would make it possible maybe to stabilize the system. And of course, nobody wants wind, but that is
Yeah.
has been a great stimulus, especially to the school districts, bringing in.
I know I talked to a farmer up at Mount Pulaski, and we were talking about the wind farms, and he said I didn't really like it, but he said it's been a boon to this county, you know, the schools and the county government with all the increase in taxes is unbelievable, he said. I don't know, like over at Coles County with that solar farm, I don't know how much that's added to their,
It's had to add something.
right,
And if you've got a broader base, then that can bring down, if you have discipline. The big thing is discipline.
mhm.
Well, we're gonna end up with more solar, so, yeah, it's just a matter of when.
Okay.
I was gonna give Aaron a compliment on the lower T, couple patches that we've been on the lower T,
Mhm.
those two patches.
Mhm.
Never seen patches that smooth, you notice that?
Mhm.
Who did it?
Now if they just make it that smooth there at Craig's house.
Yeah,
What was it, patches?
did the county do that, or who did the patching?
I don't know.
County did.
Yeah, that's great, that's great.
All right, well, I'll get this done. Augie, if you could think about how you might word it. I don't think we need to send it out to all departments. Well, no, I think we'll just send it out to all departments regardless. Because even the ones that are spending the same or a little less may have be, hell, 2,000 here and 2,000 there. Like Everett Dirksen used to say, $1 billion here and $1 billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. All right. Anybody move to adjourn? My gosh, Russ. Russ,
I'll take
and
Andy's
Dan.
bucket of chance.
Russ and Dan,
I'll
all
take
those in
Andy's
favor
spot.
signify by saying aye, opposed, nay, we're adjourned.